Welcome, everybody, to Circle Back to You with Asif Ali, arena football legend. Welcome to the show, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. Hey, man, it's a great week. The Niners are the first place team in the NFC West, and we had a great game last night, didn't we?
Yes, sir. Great game.
Great game. I mean, ultimately, people may not like that game, but anyone who's a fan of good defense, thought it's great. Offensively, horrible. Jim Roman on Twitter says one of the worst games he's ever seen. And a lot of other people, as well, because there's not too many storylines or narratives associated with a great defensive game. But I enjoyed it. I caught the last kind of, the part, I guess the last minute of fourth quarter when the Colts tied it up, and then the overtime period, and it's always a great day for a Niners fan when Russell Wilson loses. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But great game though.
Oh yeah, no, great game.
100%. Yeah. But what do you think about Matt Ryan's performance, man?
It's funny. It was awful. It was abysmal. And him, better than anyone. We're gonna talk about Falcons in a bit.
Yeah.
But obviously kind of what he can do. When he has a good offensive scheme, a good coordinator like Kyle Shanahan, right? How he can, how well he can perform. But this season he's been very lackluster. Last night was proof of that. I mean, what, zero touchdowns, 2 picks, maybe around 60% completion, right? But at the end of the day, he made the throws to win the game. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't glamorous, right? It was enough to drive them to the 28 to get the field goal, to get them into overtime, and then enough to drive them back down to the red zone again, to get the field goal to end up winning the game. And if that's what it takes for the Colts to win, then hey, strong run game, great defense. That's a recipe for winning. But I think Matt Ryan needs to play a little bit better. I mean, the Colts, the cap hit that the Colts had taken for basically signing this offseason, unless he's able to get back to Pro Bowl form, they're going to be regretting that pretty quickly. So,
yeah, I don't know. What's your opinion on this, man? When he throws the ball, there's no zip on the ball at all.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. There's no zip about the ball at all, and it's really like a, what do you call that? A wounded duck.
Yeah, your grandma could throw that pass.
No, but 100%, because it's one of those things. So he's 37 years old, right? So he's obviously in his twilight years. He's on the back nine, right? And ultimately, when you look at how many throws he made, last night, again, the 2 picks. Matt Ryan is not a turnover prone quarterback. The prime Matt Ryan is not a turnover prone quarterback, right? The zip's not there. The decision making is questionable. He made the throws that counted to help them win the game, but that's not enough, in my opinion, to help them make a deep playoff run. Probably not even enough to win that division, honestly, because that division is stacked now with Jacksonville, that great defensive run game, with Tennessee coming back into form, winning 2 straight. And we're gonna get into our picks a bit for week 5, right? But I really think that Matt Ryan is so far he's been a disappointment. Just like Russell Wilson's been a disappointment. I think Russell Wilson as well. If you saw how he played last night, he had 2 picks. The game against the Niners, he played abysmal too, and the Niners should have won that game. And I really think that these 2 quarterbacks we saw last night are really they're the age is showing. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing the age showing for 2 past their prime quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, but we didn't see this kind of performance from Russell last season.
No, we did not. We saw Russell Wilson, actually play pretty well. But the lost Seattle Seahawks fans on Twitter, when I was on there recently, they're all saying, last 2 years the guy's been trash. All NFL fans have said this year and last year he's been underperforming. So I can't say for sure, whether or not Russell Wilson is or is not performing, because I only got to see him twice last year. The Niners, we ended up, I don't know if we won those games. Maybe we lost both those games. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, we ended up making the playoffs. We ended up, getting to the NFC Championship game. Seattle ended up missing the playoffs. And, Pete Carroll was pretty trigger happy to get rid of him this offseason. There must be a reason for that. Maybe he foresaw this season. He saw this decline in Russell Wilson. And, Geno Smith, I was looking at his stats before we hopped on the podcast. Geno Smith has been a really good, pleasant surprise for Seattle this year. 6 touchdowns, two picks, over 1,000 yards passing in 4 games. That's pretty good numbers for an otherwise kind of like, backup quarterback, And I was talking to Seahawks fan on Twitter yesterday, and, they're basically telling me, they're like, oh yeah, Geno Smith basically said, they wrote me off, but, what he said, I didn't write back, right? That kind of the game 1 kind of quote. And I mean, like that quote pretty much sums it up. I think Seattle's actually kind of winning the Russell Wilson trade right now, because I mean, if you look at KC, you look at the AFC West, with KC and LA, the Chargers, outside. I mean, Denver's going to have tough sledding getting into the top of that division. They're going to have tough sledding getting to the wild card because AFC is stacked. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, we're seeing Trevor Lawrence come into form now. I mean, there's a lot of great talent right there in the AFC West. I'm thankful my Niners are in the NFC. So, because I mean, that gives us, it favors us to make a deeper run.
Man, speaking of Lamar Jackson, man, let's talk about the Ravens for a second, man. What happened?
Man, we both picked the Ravens. Actually, let me pull up our picks from last week because I want to go through this. Oh my God. Because I mean, we had a pretty good week last week. So I want to go through our picks for everyone who listens, and
let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's go back to ESPN Fantasy. Let's go to Pick'em. There we go. Okay, let's go to week 4. There we go. All right. So yeah, I correctly picked the Bengals over the Dolphins. You picked the Bengals too, right? Or did you pick the Dolphins? I forgot.
I picked the Dolphins, man, because they played so well the first 3 games.
Yeah,
that was a game they should have won, though, man.
Yeah, they should have won. Tua obviously getting injured, and we can talk about that in a bit. But I mean, I really think the Dolphins mishandled the whole situation. I mean, he obviously sustained a concussion, and they really mishandled that whole situation. I think Tua should not have been out there playing. I mean, because now, I mean, we don't know, what the extent of the injury is now, right? Because from personal experience, right? I mean, concussions are some of the most debilitating injuries you can sustain, and football being a collision sport, guests on my show play in the NFL. They'll all tell you the same thing, that the worst injury you can sustain is a concussion. So right. I mean, it's a really tough situation. So yeah, I mean, Dolphins were definitely coming with momentum, but I just thought the Bengals being at home, and I really thought the Bengals were a lot better than everyone giving them credit. Because remember when you asked me on last time, we on the last episode last week, kind of, are the Bengals not in the mix? I basically said no. I mean, they have to be in the mix. A lot of my friends disagree with me, because they basically say, I mean, it's really hard for a team who just made a Super Bowl run to get back to the Super Bowl, which is true. But I mean, that doesn't mean that they can't make a deep playoff run. And I really think the 0-2 start wasn't indicative of the talent, and they proved it last week. So.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Now let's go down the list.
All right.
You good? Yeah, so let's go down. Okay, so we both picked the Vikings over the Saints. That was fun. I like that game. That was an awesome game.
Yeah.
Awesome game, man. 28-25. We watched that game in the morning. Yeah, and then we picked your Falcons correctly over the Browns. Another great game. Oh my God.
Yeah, shout out to Steven Neff real quick, man. Hey, I'm so sorry, man. You you made that trip all the way down to Atlanta to watch the Browns lose. Hey, man. It was a great game, though.
Man, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome was popping. I love that game. I love the defensive effort. I love just the Marcus Mariota. Again, Mariota's poise and his presence, like I said numerous times on this show, right? I mean, Mariota's poise and presence is what's going to take the Falcons to a wildcard spot. I mean, I really think this team is like I said, dark horse team, the NFC. NFC South is outside of Tampa Bay, who looks very suspect right now, in my opinion. It's a wide open division, and the NFC wildcard is wide open, in my opinion, too, because the NFC is not as stacked as the AFC. So It's a good time to be a Falcons fan.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited. I mean, I think that we've seen a complete turnaround with that defense, man.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that defense is nasty. That pass rush, that secondary. Oh my God, and it's it's definitely a good team. It's a well-balanced team on both sides of the ball. Special teams, obviously, you got Cordell Patterson doing it all, right? Coming in the backfield, doing the wide back like Debo does for my Niners. Just being able to kind of line up, and he's a freak of nature in what he can do. I mean, I got to see him play live when he was on the Patriots, and they came to play the Bears back in 2018 at Soldier Field. I was living in Chicago at the time. That was my last season playing for the Chicago Falcons. And, I was there with my buddy who's kicker on the Falcons, Dan Kalvashov, if he's listening to this. But, we were right there. We got to see Cordell Patterson, return a punt return for a touchdown. I think he returned also a kickoff return for a touchdown, too, in the same game. So, I mean, the man is a freak. And, I mean, he's just carried that momentum since he's been in Atlanta for the past couple of seasons. And, he's with Mariota, with the serviceable quarterback. You can see the results. So it's a lot of things to be looking up for the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're trending upwards. So
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. So now let's go out to the next game, which we picked. I picked the Lions over the Seahawks. I think you picked the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Great game. Another great game offensively. 48-45. I mean, I made the mistake in fantasy to not pick up Geno Smith or Jared Goff or Rashad Penny, and they were the highest fantasy performers last week. So,
Oh, were they?
I mean, yeah, they were. Yeah, they put up, I think, 46 points each, and
Huh.
I mean, I would have won. I lost both my fantasy leagues last week, so I mean, if I had picked up one or the other, either Rashad Penny or Jared Goff or even a Geno, yeah, I definitely would have won. So it is what it is. It's,
Oh,
fantasy is a difficult animal because it's just like you don't know. Like there's a lot of things that go into like individual performances and matchups, and sometimes it's literally sheer luck that determines who wins. So
yeah.
it is what it is. All right, next up, we picked. Did we pick? I picked the Titans. You picked the Colts. Yeah, that was a good game too. Titans won that game 24-17, very close game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why. I mean, I think Matt Ryan needs to play better because I think the NFC South with Ryan Tannehill and as well as Trevor Lawrence coming into form this year. I mean, there's a lot. They're much younger. Trevor Lawrence is much younger than both of them. Ryan Tannehill has a few years on Matt Ryan, and Ryan Tannehill doesn't look like he's been declining at all. So I mean, I think that Titans team is now getting into rhythm, and so if the Colts want any shot at making the playoffs, Matt Ryan's got to find the fountain of youth, because AFC is the stacked conference, and that division is stacked too. So, I mean, and then so now move onward to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jets. We both picked the Steelers, and we're both wrong.
Yeah, we were both wrong about that one.
Man,
God.
I don't even know because I thought I was thinking Zach Wilson was just gonna be the same old Zach Wilson, but I mean Robert Saleh, who used to be our defensive coordinator, shout out to him. First Muslim coach in the NFL history. That's another shout out. Basically, I mean, like the creativity in the offense. See, I knew how great he was as a defensive coordinator with the schemes when he was with us in San Francisco, but like being able to kind of like make kind of call it almost like a Philly play, like which the Eagles ran Super Bowl 52, where they had Zach Wilson will kind of roll out as wide receiver, and then the receiver threw a touchdown to him, and then that was the final score of the game. The kudos to them. Pittsburgh, obviously, they're 1-2. 1-3. Yeah, I mean, Kenny Pickett's a rookie quarterback. I think they're going to struggle this year. AFC North is a stacked division. I mean,
right.
You got the Browns, like you said, Stephen Neff. You got the Bengals. You got the Ravens. I mean, there's too many good teams in that division. So it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Next up, okay, let's talk about this one. You mentioned the Ravens and the Bills. Yeah, I mean, the final score is 23-20. I mean, the Bills are a good team. So the Bills, I mean, losing the Bills is not really, in my opinion, it's not indicative of a panic in Baltimore, but because their division is so stacked, like I just said, they need to get wins, and they need to get wins outside of their division. So, obviously Mark is listening to this, I mean, hey man, or Coach Dub listening to this, shout Coach, right? I'm rooting for y'all to kind of get together, but hey, I mean, it's the NFL, right? Teams
But like you said, man, a couple of weeks ago, you said that, a lot of these games is going to come down to play calling. Now, that last play, man, what would you have done if you were their coach, man? Now, would you have gone on fourth down, or would you have kicked the field goal?
Man, I would have kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly that was actually Denver's crux last night. They went for it on fourth down, and they tried to and again, like you said, play calling and experience. But John Harbaugh's a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, I don't know why I thought he's one of the best situational play callers in NFL history. I mean, he beat my Niners 10 years ago in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just scratching my head still about that call. And
everybody said that, why wouldn't you trust the number one of the top defenses in the league?
Yeah.
On that play, kick the field goal and trust your defense to hold up for the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because at ESPN, basically, they actually pulled the stats on the defense of Baltimore. They're actually one of the worst defenses when it comes to yards allowed and I think not points per game or some other stat. I forgot what it was. There's a few stats where they're actually like 25th and dead last 32. So, I mean, even though we talk about how great individually the defense is with the players that they have, Marcus Williams, the cornerback, I forget his name, Marcus, I forget his name. And then their linebacking core, a few of the front four, right, with Calais Campbell, right. The defense has been underperforming this season, and I think, that may not show so much in the record or the scoreboard, right? But giving up those chunk yardage plays, those big plays, right? That tends to be the difference maker in these games. So yeah, I mean, Baltimore, I mean, still a lot. This is still a long season. They can definitely right the ship, but yeah, it's kind of surprising to me that their defense has been underperforming at this level.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, me neither. Next up, Chargers, Texans. We picked Chargers. I'm not going to talk about that. Cowboys, Commanders, same thing. I'm not going to talk about that. Cowboys, Commanders. Yeah, we picked it right. Eagles, Jacksonville. I want to talk about this one because this is a very close game. Oh my God. I mean, Jacksonville is for real, but Eagles are definitely for real. I mean, this team is looking like the best. Well, I still think my Niners are the best team in the NFC because we have the best defense and we have a really good run game and one of the best lines. But I think the Eagles, if it's not the Niners, the Eagles are definitely there. And I mean, the power rankings probably disagree with me. The Eagles are number one, the power rankings with ESPN and NFL.com. So
yeah, shout out to Jackie Scully and your Eagles. I mean, flying high at 4-0, doing awesome.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Okay, but I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, it was a great game. The defense is for real. This Jacksonville team is a really good team. They're 2-2. They blew out the Chargers in week 3, 38-10. The Eagles came from behind and won the game. Otherwise I thought they were going to lose. Didn't help me in fantasy. Jalen Hurts my starting quarterback, and he didn't help me much. But I mean, this team is the last undefeated team in the NFL, I think, right? So I mean, there's a reason for that. So yeah, no, Eagles are for real.
Oh yeah.
So next game we picked the Giants. We were correct. Over the Bears. I mean, not much needs to be said. Justin Fields looks very inconsistent. He was drafted the same year as Trey Lance. Like I said, I ran across my show today. Jimmy is a proven winner. Trey Lance struggled in that game against the Bears before he went out in injury in week 2. Justin Fields doesn't look like he's struggling. He doesn't look like a number 2 overall or a number 10 overall pick. So, I mean, I think the Giants, now what are they 2-1, 3-1? Yeah, they're 3-1.
Yeah.
They're actually, they're trying to find backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor got injured. So Tyrod Taylor getting injured. I mean, they're bringing in some guys such as like Jake Fromm from Georgia, Davis. I think not Davis Mill, some other Davis. But some quarterbacks who are kind of inexperienced. But I mean, their run game is really good. Their defense is solid. So I mean, they may be able to get by with whoever is, for 1 or 2 weeks until Daniel Jones recovers from the high ankle sprain, and Tyrod Taylor recovers too. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers. We picked 26-16. Yeah, we both picked the Cardinals. Baker Mayfield, terrible. I mean, not much. I mean, that's not even worth covering, right?
I mean, I'm glad that the Panthers lost, though, man, because
right, exactly. No,
that makes it better for the Falcons in our division.
Yeah. No, the Cardinals winning doesn't make it easier for the Niners, but the Cardinals are a horrible team. I mean, I really don't think that they're good at all. I mean, I think if the Niners play them this year, I mean, even though we struggled them last year, I think we're going to beat them. I think we're going to beat them handily because our defense and our run game against the Rams, I mean, if that wasn't proof, the Rams blew out the Cardinals in week 3. I mean, the Rams are a far superior team on paper than the Cardinals are, unless Kyler Murray pulls out some magic or some shit. I mean, I really think we're going to beat them. Next up, the Green Bay Packers, New England Patriots. Packers went 27-24. We both picked the Packers home game. But I do want to talk about that game because it was a very close game. Oh my God, it was a great game. I watched it all the way through, and I thought New England's defense was phenomenal. Their secondary is great. Bill Belichick proves why he's still coaching in the NFL because of the way he prepares his team. Their defense was ready. They almost won that game. You know what I mean? So Aaron Rodgers struggled. Packers are a lot of people's pick outside the Eagles for NFC favorites, if not the Niners, right? Or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I mean, the Patriots went toe-to-toe with a really good team. They're 1-3 for the first time since 2000, since Bill Belichick entered New England. So that's something to look out for. I don't know if they're going to right the ship. It's a very young team. It's a very long season. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, personally, man, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I was glad to see Aaron Rodgers win that one.
Yeah, I mean, because for me too, I mean, the Niners are 4-0 against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in the playoffs, right? And he grew up an Irish fan. He's from here. He went to UC Berkeley where my sister went. So, like, I mean, I like Aaron Rodgers. I wish he
Yeah.
was on our team, on the Niners, right? It's good to see him win. I just don't know if he has what it takes to win the playoffs. Just like, I mean, the same question I have about Jimmy G, right? Is Jimmy G going to be able to get us over the hump? And when it matters the most, like when he was here last, right? Is he able to do enough to win the game, the big game, right? So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City. We both picked the Buccaneers. We were both wrong. Final score 41-31. Kansas City is looking very, very dangerous right now.
Oh yeah.
That defense scares the shit out of me. I mean, everyone's raving over Mahomes, and I mean, credit to him. Without Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's picked up where we left off. I mean, he completed, I think, 7 passes. I think he 27 passes to 6 or 7 different receivers in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that team is well balanced. It's a scary team. We played them in 3 weeks. But you know what? I think we're ready. So we'll see.
You think San Francisco will come out on top?
I mean, it's a home game, so why not? I think ultimately we have a 2-game road trip against your NFC South. We're playing. Are we playing you guys this week? Who are we playing this week? We are playing you, right?
You playing us this weekend?
I think so. Yeah. No, we're playing the Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we're playing Panthers this week. Next week, it's gonna be, if I'm not mistaken, you.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Oh, we're hopping on this for that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I think Tom Brady is I'm not going to bet against Tom Brady, but I think he doesn't look like the same Tom Brady. I mean, what we talked about when we opened up the show about Matt Ryan and kind of like, the lack of velocity. There's just it's just, I mean, these are games that he would otherwise win. I mean, I don't know why I think that. I think he would have beat the Packers if he was prime Tom Brady. He would have beat the Chiefs if he was prime Tom Brady. Also, he's having a divorce going on, if anyone's not aware. I mean, him and Giselle basically retained divorce attorneys, so that's going on in his personal life. So I think that's kind of messing up with his psyche.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, some source reported it. And so, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and that's life, but I think that, I mean, Tom Brady is still the greatest of all time, right? It's just, I mean, it's a situation where, the team is not ever, ever good, or, they're just, I mean, it's a situation where you have a bad team and it's not up to the talent of par with as Tom Brady. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, Niners and Rams, baby.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about that game because I really want to talk about that game because I just talked about that with a legend. So, so basically with the Niners, ultimately, what I saw from out the gate, I mean, out the gate they scored early. I mean, they had the Jeff Wilson touchdown. Obviously the Rams had a touchdown as well. It was pretty back and forth, up until the third quarter. George Kittle almost had a touchdown. They settled for the field goal. And then the fourth quarter, what really kind of, turned everything. Sorry, the Deebo Samuel touchdown, right? That was what in the third quarter. Then then they had the field goal. And it was 17-9. And the fourth quarter, what really turned things around was what kind of sealed the game was Hufanga's pick 6 on Matt Ryan because he was targeting Cooper Kupp almost 63 times in that game. The Rams are not the same team as they were last year. 80% of America thought they were going to win. 80%, 100% of ESPN analysts thought the Rams were going to win.
Right.
I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I was just like, yeah. And it was just, I mean, I don't know. It felt special. The team felt special. That game felt special. Jerry Rice was in attendance when Deebo made the touchdown. So I'm holding the cup and went like this, from the stands. No, it was a statement win.
Oh yeah.
Statement win for the division. They went for the NFC. You beat the defending Super Bowl champs in your house after they just beat another one of your divisional opponents in week 3, the Cardinals. And, I really think this Niners team has what it takes, and Randy Cross was on my show just now before we hopped on almost like less than an hour ago. And he said the same thing. He said, when this team is clicking all cylinders, they're a team that no one wants to see in the playoffs because they have some offensive playmakers who will make it very, very difficult for opposing teams. Like one thing which really stuck out to me was George Kittle. Even though George Kittle wasn't used so much as he is kind of as like an offensive weapon or as a receiving target for Jimmy, his blocking was key for that Jeff Wilson touchdown, for that Deebo touchdown, for blocking, kind of open up the lanes for the run game. It was really critical for us to win that game to have Kittle out there blocking.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
with the loss of Trent Williams, right? because without Trent Williams and going up against AD all night, Daniel Brunskill is a phenomenal player in primetime moments when it comes to, playing the best, who is in my opinion, still Aaron Donald, and being able to kind of, match up against Aaron Donald, being able to basically neutralize him because he wasn't able to sack Jimmy once in the game. And another thing I want to give a shout out to was Jimmy's performance as well, because Jimmy was able to kind of sidestep and get rid of the ball. Unlike week 3 against Denver, where he just kind of broke down, didn't even know where he was on the field, taking that safety for whatever reason. Jimmy looked like he was ready to play. And if we could see more of this Jimmy, 233 yards, a touchdown, this team is going to be tough to beat. It's going to be tough to beat this team because they really don't need. The quarterback is not the strong point of the Niners. It's the run game, right? And then obviously you have a Deebo Samuel who lines up both in the backfield. He lines up as X or Y wide receiver from the outside, right? And the one touchdown that Jimmy threw to him, he threw it right over like this. It was almost like an inch or two above the DB's fingertips, right? And Deebo's able to go up there and get it. And that just proves. And then he was able to just slice that defense like Swiss cheese. And I love that, right? Because seeing that, Jalen Ramsey he broke through Jalen Ramsey's tackle. Wagner looked lost. That whole all-star defense of the Rams looked completely lost on that play. And I think Niners are finally finding their stride. Grant Cohn, a Niners beat writer, basically who's very critical of Shanahan, basically said that that he apologized to Shanahan for the play calling, and he thought Shanahan called a perfect game. And the Niners just executed, to perfection. So I think if the Niners keep this going, then this team's gonna be really tough to beat. It's all about consistency, though.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen between the 49ers and the Falcons, but it's gonna be good, man.
Oh my God, yeah. No, I know what's gonna happen, but I'm not gonna say it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now let's go to week 5. All right.
All right.
So let's start from the top. I picked the Broncos. I was wrong. I don't know if you picked the Colts. If you did, that's great. But
I picked the Colts.
Yeah. So good pick. So 2-2-1 on the season. 82% of America picked the Broncos. So it is what it is. Now we're going to start off. So now Giants at Packers. Both teams are 3-1.
Oh, that's going to be a good one, man.
Oh yeah.
But I picked the Packers on this one.
I picked the Packers too. 91% of America picks the Packers. At home, coming off a good win against the Patriots. New York Giants, the reason why I'm not picking them, Daniel Jones, Tyler Taylor, the issues at quarterback, they're bringing guys from off the street, basically. And, from my own personal experience, you need at least a week to get in a rhythm, right? To kind of, when you get off the street, go through kind of, the motions of, learning the playbook and going through walkthroughs and going through, kind of the practice. It's a lot of different things you have to kind of consider. So, quarterback is the most difficult position in the league. I think Packers are going to win. Could be wrong. Let's see. But I don't see why they can't win. Next game, Steelers at Buffalo Bills.
You know what, man? The Steelers, I don't know what's going on with them this season, man. But I'm going to go with the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills too. 97% of America picks the Bills. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
Next up, LA Chargers at Cleveland Browns.
The Browns,
yeah. I'm picking the Chargers. 80% of America picks the Chargers. I just think that they're too much. Justin Herbert is very talented. Jacoby Brissett, and if the Browns defense plays, just like up to their potential, then it's going to be a long day for the Chargers. I'm not confident in my pick. I really think that just talent, but again, talent doesn't mean anything, right? Any given Sunday,
right?
Next matchup: Chicago Bears at Minnesota Vikings.
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the Vikings. 94% of America picks.
Yeah, they're coming off that huge win last Sunday morning. So yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, no, coming off a huge win in London. I really don't see any reason why they can't win this game. If they lose this game, I'll be surprised. So next game, Detroit Lions at New England Patriots.
I'm going to take the Lions on this one.
I'm taking Lions too. 59% of America picks the Lions. It's the reason why a lot of people are picking the Patriots is because of the fact that the Lions defense has been allowing 440 yards per game, which is the worst in the NFL. Most points per game as well. But Jared Goff is lighting up other teams. So they're still 1-3. They've won a game. So, they can definitely, but if the Patriots win, I won't be shocked because that defense is atrocious. So, okay, next up, Seattle Seahawks and New Orleans Saints.
I'm picking the Seahawks because you know how I feel about the Saints, man.
Yeah. I'm picking the Saints, but it's a 45%, 55% kind of split, so it's like almost right down the middle. I don't see why Seahawks can't win this game. You know what I mean? But the only reason why I'm not picking them to win this game because it's on the road. But then again, hey, we'll see how the Saints do. I mean, is Jameis is still playing, I think. So if not, then they have Taysom Hill. Saints at home are a much bit different team than Saints on the road. But then again, they're 1-3 at this season, so they're not the same Saints team. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks win. But I'm never picking the Seahawks because
That's right.
Yes, sir. Same reason why I not picking the Saints. Same exact reason. So next up, the Miami Dolphins at New York Jets.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins. Still a strong team, man.
Yeah, no, even without Tua, the team is really tough to beat. They have Teddy Bridgewater there. He was able to move the ball pretty well against the Bengals. I think that the Jets are not as deep of a team as the Bengals. They're not as good of a team as the Bengals. They don't have T. Higgins. They don't have these receivers, who are just freaks of nature, 6'5" and can stretch the field like Jamar Chase, or Taj. Right? They don't have those guys. So I think the Dolphins will win this game, and 77% of America picks the Dolphins.
Okay.
Okay, last game. Your Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, we're gonna win that one, man.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, we have to.
95% of America is picking the Bucks. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, man. We're on a winning streak here.
Yeah, winning streak, and I don't know. I'm surprised, but again, maybe because Tampa Bay's at home. I haven't picked this matchup yet. But I guess I could pick the Falcons. It's fine. I'll pick the Falcons. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Second to last game, Tennessee Titans at Washington Commanders.
I'm going to pick the Titans on this one.
Yeah, Titans. 88% of America picks Titans. I'm not going
to.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, not second to last game. Third to last game. So next game up, Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars.
Gonna take the Jaguars.
Oh yeah, that's 96% of America picks. Yeah, Houston Texans have not won a game this year. So yeah, sorry, I'm not in the last games. There's still more games. Okay, so next up, San Francisco 49ers at the Carolina Panthers.
I'm taking the 49ers.
I'm taking 49ers too. 94% of America picks the 49ers. Baker Mayfield's horrible. Matt Rule's a horrible head coach. I saw a stat recently. He's 0-27 when his team isn't up by like 7 or something like that. At halftime or something ridiculous. So he's not a good play caller. He's not able. He doesn't call plays to help the team when to come from behind and win. So that's that. Next up, Dallas Cowboys at LA Rams.
Well, you know how I feel about Dallas, so I'm picking the Rams on this one.
Yes, sir. Me too. And actually, 69% of America picks the Rams. So
good.
Picking the bounce back. Yeah. I wouldn't mind if the Cowboys win because it makes it easier for the NFC West. But I honestly don't care for either team. So for me, it's been a loser bowl.
Okay.
Next up, Philadelphia Eagles at Arizona Cardinals.
Oh no, that's easy. The Eagles, man.
Yeah, Eagles easy. Yeah, 20% of only 8, so 80% of America picks the Eagles. The only way I see Cardinals coming out of this game is if they come out early and Kyler Murray has a magic game and he comes from behind like ding as the Raiders, but the Eagles are not the Raiders. The Eagles are not even close. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC outside of my team. My personal opinion is Niners, but I think the Eagles, all things considered, the Eagles offense is much better, I would say, with Jalen Hurts. So I'd pick the Eagles. So now here we go. Second last matchup of the weekend, Bengals at Ravens.
That's a tough one, man. But you know what? I'm gonna go out on the limb here and say the Ravens.
Yes, sir. Me too. 68% of America agrees with us. So I think Bengals coming out to Cincinnati. They had a tough game, last Thursday. They do have an extra few days of rest, heading into this game. I think Baltimore at home, they're gonna come back and bounce back. I know that defense sucks, so it could very well be a Bengals win. But I picked the Bengals to win the AFC North last time I was on here. I'm sticking that pick, for my coach, right? But they got to fix that defense. That defense is easy to fix. Otherwise, it's gonna be a long season. Last but not least, Las Vegas Raiders at Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs.
Yeah, 95% of America picks the Chiefs. That's it. You know, I mean, the Raiders have just I don't know what the problem is. I mean, Josh McDaniels, I thought that he learned from his last stint with Denver. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they could definitely be doing better. Hopefully they could right the ship. I have no idea. I mean, if I'm not a Raiders fan, I don't really care either way. So
cool. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.
all right, everyone, take care. Have a great weekend.
You too.